Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Story Time with Mr. Bailey. I'm today going to be reading you chapter 14 of the book Varjack. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, so here goes. Down in the darkness, Varjack dreamed he was walking by the river in Mesopotamia. Date palms swayed in the warm breeze, the night air smelled of cinnamon. Jalal walked beside him. Jalal, I thought I'd never see you again. Why cinnamon? Said Jalal as he hadn't heard. Cinnamon? Perhaps you've noticed the smell all around us. Now follow me and be silent. Jalal led them down the riverbank towards a group of men. They were sitting around a campfire, cooking food in a sizzling pan. The most wonderful smell in the world came out of that pan. It was toasty, warm and cinnamony, and drove Varjack wild. His nostrils twitched, his mouth drooled, he was starving. A couple of fat, sluggish cats circled the fire. One of the men tossed them something from the pan. Varjack beamed at Jalal. Obviously, they were going to join them. He was going to get some of that delicious smelling food. Jalal shook his head. Those are not true cats. They have forgotten how to hunt. They are scavengers, trapped here by their own greed. They have become slaves to the people. They might as well be dead already. Varjack blushed with the shame, remembering that a scrap of rancid meat he'd wanted so badly in the city. But if you were hungry and there's nothing else, he said. Jalal's eyes blazed amber like the rising sun. A cat is an idea of freedom made flesh, he said fiercely. It cannot be tied down. To be truly alive, it must be free, and free cat hunts. It never scavenges or depends on the kindness of people. It depends only on itself. Varjack looked around at the ground. He wished he would swallow him up. I've failed, Jalal, he said. I've failed you. I've failed everybody. It's no failure to make a mistake, my son. What matters is whether you can learn from it. Varjack looked up. The old cat was smiling at him. It was like a ray of sunlight in the night. I want you to learn how to hunt, Jalal. Then learn you shall. I will restore the knowledge that has been lost. I will teach you hunting, for it is the third skill. Now, show me your awareness. Track down that chirping noise you heard when you last were here. Varjack pricked up his ears, determined not to fail again. The noise came from the riverbank. With these sensitive whiskers, he probed the air currents that carried the sound until it pinned down its source precisely. Crickets, he said. 4, hidden behind that clump of reeds. Correct, Jalal glided towards the reeds. Varjack marvelled the way he moved. He was stealth in itself. When you stalk your prey, whispered Jalal, you become your prey. You make it part of yourself. Breathe like it breathes. Think like it thinks. When you and the prey are one, you will know its every movement, and then you will move first. This is the secret of the third skill, and why it is done best alone. Try it. The crickets chirped up behind and the long reeds as Varjack and Jalal crept up behind them. Varjack selected his target. He sat stock still, waiting in anticipation, letting all his awareness flow into the cricket. Every time it shifted, his senses went with it, tracking its speed, trajectory, vectors. He took it all in, and as if there was nothing else in the world, as if he didn't exist anymore. The crickets stirred. They sensed they were being watched. They were about to move. Varjack knew it with absolute certainty. His legs tensed like steel springs, tight until the right moment came. He uncoiled into the air, claws slid out smoothly, pinning the prey, forcing it to the ground. He opened his jaws, prepared to sink in his teeth. Enough, Jalal shouted. Varjack released the stung cricket. What had he done wrong now? Jalal took a deep breath. It was a splendid attack. You have the third skill, but this is only practice. You are going to kill it. It's just a cricket. And we are just cats. Remember, you may cause harm only when you know there is no alternative, only when your life is at stake. You take enough and no more. That is the way the world is made. I'm sorry, Jalal, said Varjack, tail between his legs. I didn't know. And why did you settle for one cricket? It wouldn't feed a mouse. No one could catch more than one at a time. Oh no, Jalal grinned. Varjack looked down at his ancestors' paws. The other 3 crickets were right there wriggling around on the ground. Now pay attention, said Jalal. This is how it's done. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Again, I'd just like to remind you that you can still send in work to myself, the email address for year 4. And again, just a quick message to say that I hope you're all keeping well, and I look forward to seeing some of you as well, as very, very soon Mr. Bailey will be returning to school on the 22nd. as well, and I look forward to teaching you then. So take care, and I will hopefully see you all very, very soon.